Okay, perfect. Okay, so I think we are live. Hi, Gustavito, and welcome to the very first attempt at Invisible Talks, where in English we will speak to artists about their process and hopefully inspire more people to become artists. So my first question to you is where you are now.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Ksenia. It's a pleasure to take part on this first Invisible Talk. And also, we're doing the Invisible Concert in the following days. So I'm very happy to be here. Some friends of mine have already played for Invisible City. So it's very nice to be here too. And right now, I am in Brazil, in Minas Gerais state, in a very small city called Rio Acima. That means up the river.
In what language?
And I'm in the middle of the nature. Sorry?
Rio Acima, Rio Acima. It sounded like something in an indigenous language. I didn't recognize Portuguese. Okay.
It's because it's my Brazilian Minas Gerais Portuguese. You are not used to it. But here is a region of lots of mountains and waterfalls, rivers. It's very beautiful nature here.
And we managed to have working internet from there. So it is actually something quite spectacular. So, going really straight to the point, you are in Minas Gerais. And when did you actually realize, Gustavito, that you are an artist?
Well, I think since I started playing music, the music was something that touched me very deeply. And I love music since I was a kid. But I didn't saw myself as a real artist until maybe I got kind of 20 years old, because I was already writing songs, inventing music, instrumental music as well, in the guitar, since I started playing with 13 years old. But I didn't thought that was really big deal, so I didn't show too much people, and I didn't saw myself as a really an artist. And I was also writing poems and writing lots of stuff, but that was just for me. I didn't thought that it was for other people. But I was playing bass guitar in several bands, and also acoustic guitar, and teaching music as well. I was already teaching with 18 musician from Brazil. He's the bass player of Hermeto Pascoal band. And he had an workshop called Universal Music, a música universal. Mm-hmm. And at this workshop, I was very impressed by the way he sees the music, because he don't see wall between the styles. For him, the music is one thing, one whole thing. You don't need to separate. I play reggae music, or play music, or play classical music, or rock. For him, all are music, and you don't need to separate. And that was something that really, I was really happy to hear that, because it was something that I was always waiting to hear something like that, because that was like that for me too. I always enjoyed almost all different kinds of music, and I didn't felt as I need to choose a specific style. So I was in love with all that kind of music. And then on that day, that weekend, 1 week actually of workshop, met lots of amazing musicians that became my friends until nowadays. I met Luis Gabriel, there I met Rafael Martini, and lots of other nice musicians from here, from Minas Gerais, and one of them, that is Antonio Loureiro. He after the workshop, all the musicians there were together playing songs, and I didn't met nobody. They seemed to already meet each other, and then I entered and I asked for the guitar to play one song, and then I wanted to impress them, so I played the Milagre dos Peixes. That is a song from Milton Nascimento. That is kind of a hard song to play and to sing. So I wanted to play it to show that I really know some music that is, I thought that people would find it interesting, and it was right. And then when I finished to play, everybody congrats me. And then Antonio asked me, "So, are you a musician too?" And then I said, "Oh, I want to be. Someday I want to be a musician." And then he say, "No, or you are already a musician or you don't. There is no middle term." And then I was upset on the first, because I thought, come on, this guy is like making joke with me, because I was angry with that. But then sometime later I thought about it and I say yes, because the only person that needs to say what I am or what I'm not is me. I don't need to wait for other people to say I am a musician. Me, I have to affirm that. So from that day on, I started to call myself, to introduce me as a musician. And it was very important to me. It was the year 2007. And so I think it's a good mark. It's a remarkable event. Then from that on, I started to see myself as an artist.
So there is a method to becoming an artist. So first, try to find the best workshops with wonderful other artists, and then hear someone call you an artist, then get confused, and then think, maybe I should indeed call myself an artist, and that's how an artist is born. Which leads me to the next question. Do you actually think that anyone can become an artist?
Yes, I think that anyone can make art. And I think that making art and become an artist is a matter of choice. Because when you choose to be an artist, you are choosing to live your life always involved with the art 24 hours a day. So I don't think anyone can be an artist, because to be an artist, you must be an artist full time, you know? Because if you make art and you can be an artist when you're making art, like as a hobby or in the holidays. But I don't really think that makes you an artist, because an artist is someone that lives by art and lives for the art 24 hours a day. So I think that's the difference. I think anyone can be an artist, also because I don't think that to be an artist, you need to have talent. Maybe you don't have the talent, but if you have the will to live for art and do art all your life and study and practice and find the ways to express yourself through art and live by your art, then you are an artist. And sometimes you are very talented, but you don't want to be an artist. I had friends from the school, for example, that they had a big talent for singing or a big talent for playing the guitar. Then they went to do engineering, went to different works and different lives, and they don't become artists just because they got the talent, you know. And then also there is something interesting that is sometimes, mainly in the third world countries, but I think everywhere in the world, is difficult. It's not so easy to live by art. So when I say that an artist must be 24 hours with his art, it don't necessarily mean that he can live by his art, because for some people it's very difficult. So a person have to have a different job to survive, because he can't survive by its art. But for example, a rapper that as I know some people, some friends that are really good rap artists, but
Hmm.
they can't, sometimes they can't live by their art, so they have a different job. But I know that these friends, they are like, they wake up and go to his job, and he's thinking about art. He's writing some lyrics in the middle, in the free time inside the work. He's listening to music, so he's living a full time the art. So that
Hmm.
make him an artist, even if he don't live by his art.
So you pretty much just given a very clear definition of what you think is an artist. An artist, anyone can be, and probably can even have more talent than someone who might slack off or the opposite, work more. But what really defines you is actually taking it seriously as a job and doing it day after day, day after day, day after day. And it makes me think about this phrase. I think it was Picasso who said that. Inspiration needs to find you working. Unless you
Yes,
work, if it comes, you're not working. Alas, nothing is going to come out of it. And you mentioned that the very first day when someone actually told me, "Oh, you're an artist, you're a musician," you were playing Milton Nascimento, which means
yes.
that, well, you were copying someone. And how do you actually move from copying? Because a lot of potential artists get stuck in the copying phase. And how do you actually switch to the creative mode? How do you start producing something that is yours?
Well, actually, I was producing, creating songs and creating lyrics, creating poetry since I was a teenager. So since I started playing music, I was already composing. But the difference was that I was not like giving the value for that compositions that I made. I was ashamed of showing my thing to the people. Sometimes I showed, and if the people don't like, or if I don't know if the people like, I was really sad about that. So I prefer to not show to anybody. And I studied a lot because I love the Brazilian MPB, the Brazilian popular singer-songwriting tradition. So I'm a great fan of Milton Nascimento, Gilberto Gil, Caetano Veloso, Chico Buarque, Tom Jobim, and all that came after them. So I was studying a lot of their songs, songwriting. I was playing as I was a teenager, and my friends in the school, we all enjoyed too much of Raul Seixas and Alceu Valença and Belchior and a lot of different singer-songwriters from Brazil, and I was learning their songs in the guitar, and I
Mhm.
played a lot of their songs until nowadays. I have a extensive repertoire of this kind of music. And by the time I had, I think it was the year of 2011. So I had kind of 23, 24 years old. And then I was playing, I used to play in a bar that was a bar for singer-songwriting Brazilian folk tradition. So in the walls of this bar, there was a lot of pictures of all these famous singer-songwriters and singers. And I was playing there every Thursday. I played
Mhm.
there, and I only play this kind of repertoire, samba, and all of these singer-songwriters. And then I was going to do my first solo original concert. The first time I
Mhm.
was going to do a concert playing only my songs. And it
Mhm.
was in the festival called Cantautores. That is a very nice festival that happens here in Belo Horizonte until nowadays. And this festival is only about singer-songwriters, and all the concerts are solo, and all the performers play only original songs. And there was my first concert on 2011 on this festival. And then
Mhm.
when I played this concert only with my original songs, it was sold out. It was a small place, but it was full of people. and everybody was vibrating with me. They loved the concert. I was very happy to see some musicians that were older than me, of past generation from here, and they were there watching, such as Mestre Jonas, Paulo Castro, Rafael Martini, and these musicians were there on the concert, and all of them came to me at the end of the concert, and they were saying compliments to me, and saying how they enjoyed my music. So I was really happy with that. And then on the next week, I was going to do my Thursday concert that every week, playing cover songs. And then, as a sign from the universe, in this next week, the bar to see this cover concert. And there was really no one. And then the owner of the bar sent me home. He said, "Oh, you don't need to play for the walls, for the chairs. It's okay. You have here your minimal fee, and you can go home because today nobody came." And it was very bizarre because every Thursday I played that bar, and it was always lots of people there. It was a bar that people were used to go, and they didn't went there to see my concert. They go to see anybody that was playing, because every day on the week there was always someone playing this kind of cover Brazilian popular music. And then that day nobody came, and that for me was a sign from the universe, because from that day on I thought, oh, now I will dedicate myself to my original music, because I just did a concert that was full of people with my original, and next week a cover concert with nobody. So I think the universe has given me a clue. And then from that day on, I called the bar owner and say, oh, I'm not going to play there anymore. And I started to record my first album on December of 2011. And then in 2012, it was a new moment of my career. I was releasing my first album, and everything started from there.
And
so now I got 10 years.
10 years of creative work. So you said that your story is full of these wonderful moments when other artists with heavy names in Belo Horizonte told you that you're great. But then, have you ever had moments when you really had, a crushing critique? How did you protect your ego? Because you said at the beginning, you were still afraid and shameful of showing your own work. And I think a lot of artists have that moment when they do get really harsh critique, and then it can absolutely destroy their hopes and their identity. Have you had that? Have you seen this happening to others? And how do you think actually artists can recover from that?
Well, I think that first, it's really important to get rid of the shame. And there's not a receipt how to do it. You just need to put yourself into it, right? Because I'm not a person that naturally I was able to go in the stage, to talk in front of lots of people. So that's something that I really need to work myself to be able to do it. And about the shame of showing the songs, I think the best way is to lose that shame is showing the songs. And you for me, it was very interesting to study people's reaction, because when I start writing the songs, all the songs that I write, I love. I love all the songs that came through me. But I know it's not the same with the people, because as my tradition was very complicated musics, complicated songs with lots of harmonies, such as Milton Nascimento, Chico Buarque, Tom Jobim. But these are great icons that their music, even if it's very complicated music, because of their historical period and long time of career, people are open to listen to their songs. And they are also masters, so they can do it in a way that even if it's complicated, it sounds nice to the people. But what happened to me was that I was doing songs that in the beginning, not everyone was enjoying. People sometimes were liking if it's a person that already is open for a more a difficult listening song.
Mm-hmm.
But like I like to play for common people and see their reaction. If they were saying that it was good just because I were their friend, then I say no, this is not what I'm looking for. And then when I write a song, and I think this first song that happened this was a song called O Rio Corta Papel. That is a song that is in my first album, and Irene Bertacchini sings together with me this song. And I think it was with that song that was the first song that when I showed to people, first time I play, people were already feeling it. And I could
How did you know it? What?
sense
How did they
that
show
people
it?
were really there's not a way to explain, but it was the expression, the way that people are moving and sometimes even singing along a bit. Like, so that showed to me that people were really enjoying that song. And then I realized that I had to do, to explore a way of writing songs that will give more interest to people, you know? So I think that is a clue that I give. If you are writing songs and you are trying to become an artist or trying to put your songs out of the closet, you need to first you need to show to the people, lose the shame, and force yourself to do it, because I know it's very hard. For me, it was really hard. But and also, if you want to be someone that live for your art, you must look how to do it. The things you must do to live for your art, to make a band, and try to get in festivals, in smaller festivals. Try to know how the musical industry work, even if in a small scale first, and see the reaction of the people, because you need to find your public and find a way to touch people's heart, because if the
Mm-hmm.
music only touch your own heart, so it will not go to the world, right? And I like to mention something about one master that I had, that is Ian Guest, that is a fantastic musician that um, I'm not sure where is he from. I think he's from Hungary, but he was living in Brazil for most part of his life, so he's kind of Brazilian
Mm-hmm.
naturalized. And he was a teacher in a school where I studied, and he was very important also because he had teachings on composition and modal music writing, and he also teach me something very interesting, that is, you don't need to be attached to what you do, because sometimes you do something and you are afraid of changing that because you think it's very nice like that, but you don't need to be attached. You must change, and you also must write a song and say, oh, it's nice, but now I'm going to write another one, and then another one and another one, because only the practice will lead you to do better, right? And it's not everybody that write first song and the first song is already good. No, so you need to practice the
Definitely.
inspiration, as
It,
as
it's
as you said about Picasso.
it's incredible how this approach of actually testing it out, exposing it, putting it in front of others, and then learning from it is exactly what we do in startups. Like, unless you lose your shame and put it out there and see how people react, you will never know if it's something that you're building is any good. And you've talked about actually figuring out what people like. So, do you think that you have managed to write a hit or maybe a few hits?
Yes, I think that nowadays I write songs, and not only nowadays, but since the starting of my career, I have been writing songs that are hit, like in the meaning that it hits the people, right? So it don't need to be a hit on the worldwide or a hit in the radio, something like that, but it just need to be a song that hits the people heart. So I think that's what a hit means. It's a song that people listen, and the second time they listen, they are already singing. So I think
What do you
for
think is the
me,
recipe for that? How do you get there? So how do you make people repeat what you've written?
I don't know if there is a recipe for that, but it's just something that you build upon the time, you know. So nowadays I know when I write something that people will sing, and I know that people like to sing together. So that was something that I was really missing on the pandemics, to do all only live concerts, only online concert, because I was really missing to invite people to sing together, and that's something that I love to do, and I always do that on my concerts. And I think it's a ritual. It's a ritualistic uh, practice that we do in a concert when you invite everybody to sing together, and the energy that you generate when everybody's singing together is something really mystical, really special, really. It's a ritual of music.
Mm-hmm. And going, slightly back to what we started with, when you said that becoming an artist or being an artist is actually dedicating your life to that, and you said that, well, not everyone can do that, and it's not easy to make a living that way. Have you ever thought that, okay, I'm quitting, I'm going to drop it, this is not something I can take any longer?
No, I never thought it, because I had some really hard times about living with music. But even in that time, I was thinking that I'm so in love to art and to what I do, that even if I become really poor, I will prefer to be poor and do what I love than to do different things, you know. And you always have the possibility to do different kinds of work inside the art, such as giving classes or giving working as a producer of events. These are two activities that I do as a work, and they are not strictly related to my career, but they are still living by the art, by the music. So that's the point. And I've never thought like I'm going to quit music and work in a bank, in a store. No, this I never thought. I just need to find ways to survive using the
Mm-hmm.
music that is my art, but not necessarily only from my career.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that you do know people who had all the talent, but then they never ended up being artists. What do you think actually stopped them? Do you think it's the lack of dedication? How maybe they're the ones who wanted to but never did it? What do you think happened from your observation? How do you think one can save themselves from never becoming an artist?
Well, I think that's a difference, because the examples that I gave, I think that were people that don't really wanted to live to be an artist. I just said they have talent. So, for example, I had a friend that he was very good in playing the guitar, and he was studying classical guitar. So he was playing all pieces from Bach and Chorinho and a lot of difficult music. But it was always a hobby for him. So he
Mm-hmm.
liked it to play that after school with the friends in a bar. But he didn't want to work and to live only for that. So he didn't love it enough, you know. And when the people want to live from that and really don't find a way, then I think it's a lack of dedication. It's a lack of working on ways to find a way to do it, you know. And that was I was that is what I was telling, that I think more important than the talent is the love. So the thing that make you an artist is the much of love you have for art. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not the talent, because the talent is the facility you have to play or to sing or to draw. But if you don't love drawing enough to think about drawing all day, every day, and to find ways to live from your art, you will not be able to do it. So the talent is less important than the love.
And ambition as well. So you also need to allow yourself to have the ambition to be an artist.
Yes, yes. Yes, the ambition is the will to have success on that, right? And to believe in yourself that you can have success with that what you do. And for that you need to believe yourself as being good, you know. And that was what I was telling, because when I record my first album, like some years before that, I used to have some songs that were the first songs that I wrote, that I love that songs, but I've never recorded until now. And like if you talk to me when I was 18 years old or 20 years old, I would tell you, oh, I have this song and I love this song. And this song will be the first of the album, and I will record this song and that song and that song. But then I was seeing that that kind of song was not the song that people that I wanted to prize. They didn't were not going to listen exactly to that song. So at the end, when I released my first album, none of that first songs that I wrote were in this album. I still have the ambition, the will to record that songs someday. But I was writing so many songs after that, and I'm still writing so many songs that it always, when I go to record an album, that's always a line of songs, and I need to choose the ones that I made more recently, because usually they are better, because there is this evolving process. So I'm getting better in what I do, that's write songs, because it's something that came with the practice too.
And to finish off this conversation, what do you think, knowing what you know today, what are the steps that beginner artists can skip so that they get closer and more quickly to, you know, success?
Steps to skip.
Something you shouldn't do.
I don't know how to say something you shouldn't do. I have lots of things to say about what you should do, but I think what you shouldn't do is to be afraid of doing things. So you must do. You know, I think the best way is to put yourself on the world and do the things, and put your songs and record them and show them, sing them, you know, and generate your career. Because if you're going to wait, you might wait for forever, right? And also it's never late. So maybe you are not a beginning young artist, maybe you are a people that is older, but you are an artist and you never put your art on the world. So don't wait to do it, just do it.
Just do it. Okay. Well, that sounds like a great recipe. Don't be afraid. Forget about the shame. Expose it. Do it. So I guess this is an excellent way to start our Invisible Talks. I think myself, I've learned quite a bit, and I've found a lot of parallels to what I do in life, also with, you know, Invisible City being a startup and always testing new things. I mean, we are testing new things, and we'll see if, you know, someone finds us interesting or not. And this is also this iterative process of figuring out what can we actually do that can be of use to the people who come and listen to our concerts. And speaking of which, our next concert is with you this Sunday. It will be at 4 o'clock Brazil, 8 o'clock Portugal, 9 o'clock the rest of Europe. So do come to our concert to discover Gustavito's music. The link to get your ticket through the donation is in the description of this live. And we really hope to see you joining us. And Gustavito, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to talk with you. Very pleasant talk. And see you Sunday, people. I hope you come to see my songs in this intimate virtual concert, because it's a Zoom concert, so we have the possibility to see each other, to talk to each other as if we were in the present personally. So it will be very nice to sing to you and to talk a bit. So wait for you that.
See you there. Thank you.
See you there. Thank you.